you yourself have become a sort of master of the protests, if that can be described in polite terms. I mean, is that because you believe that over the years or over the decades, the mood of the times in this country has been politically dark and is getting darker?
Yes, I have always stated it that every president in Nigeria is worse than the last one. When Buhari left, everybody said this is going to be the worst. And after Buhari left, people were calling for the return of the Buhari regime. So that shows to you that
to be fair, I haven't heard a lot of people calling for the return of the Buhari
I heard a lot of
regime.
people who said, well,
I mean, in preference to the Tinubu regime.
I've heard people say, give us Buhari fuel price, give us Buhari's Naira.
Yes, I suppose in that sense, because the prices were lower. Yeah.
The same people also went and gave Buhari a rousing burial. So it doesn't look like they hate him. I was probably the only person who said, this guy don't deserve the kind of monumental, acclaim and cheerleading that followed his burial. But that's a conversation for another day, because it's no longer here. But the truth is that the country is getting darker. The electoral process has become very Byzantine. Nobody believed that elections can deliver votes that bring about credibility, that they can be free and fair, and that it is the people you vote for that will get declared as winners of election. Of course, you've seen poverty. Yesterday, they said, this is from the Nigerian government, that from 81 million people who are in abject poverty, we have now moved to 139 million, and we have 200 million people. So we're not making progress. That's the truth, either politically, economically, culturally.
And would you say that that dark theme that you talk about, that kind of overshadows this country, has resonance for many Nigerians? I mean, you do have a huge following, but do they see this country as darkly as you do, and that sense that everything is about to explode?
They see it even more than I do. That's why they are leaving. That's why most Nigerians, whenever they have the slightest opportunity to leave Nigeria, you don't leave a place that is that's going to explode. I mean, that's making progress. You stay and wait for it to see the progress happen. If this place was promised land, people will be coming in. But because it is not, people are leaving, The only people that are left in Nigeria are people who are stuck in Nigeria. Now, probably people who are dinosaurs, who can't go anywhere because they can't sense danger.
But you're not stuck in Nigeria, are you?
I'm likely stuck. This is my passport since January. But even if my passport was not seized, I'll be here. That's a decision I took a long time ago. Even though I have a right to move freely around the world, that I'm done with being, having a career in being, an exile or, being in another person's country. Yeah, because why did we go there in the first place? We travel 12,000 miles just to go and drink drinkable water in America, enjoy electricity, drive on good roads, get good jobs, send our children to school. That's why we all leave this place. If we have that over here, nobody will be a second-class citizen in the UK or anywhere in Europe. Those are the basic reasons why we leave this place. We go and seek hospitals that work. We go and drive on roads that don't kill people. We don't want to live in darkness. We don't want our neighbors to cut our necks off because of insecurity. We don't want our police to jail us when we haven't committed any offense. That's the reason we leave. These are the basic reasons why Nigerians are living in droves. If those conditions are in place, people who have left will return by tomorrow. Some of them will return without taking a single bag of clothing to come back. But Nigeria has denied them that opportunity, and it is because of that darkness that is hovering over Nigeria almost perpetually, day and night, that people are living. That is their own way of expressing that things are not good here anymore.
Is Nigeria not in darkness because of these politicians that we currently have? If you look at the Nigerian system right now, you look at the crops of politicians we have, Bola Tinubu, Wike, Akpabio, Amechi, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Tajuddin Abbas. If you look at the people that we have, the INEC that we have, the judiciary we have, would you not conclude that Nigeria is in darkness because of these guys? So is Sowore right? Is Bola Tinubu worse than Buhari? Is Bola Tinubu really a terrible president? If more Nigerians are thrown into poverty since Tinubu took over, would you not say Buhari is better than Bola Tinubu? Remember, at one point in time, Nigerians said, well, oh, God would never allow we have another Buhari. But then we didn't have a worse than Buhari in Bola Tinubu. The level of hardship for the person who said he prepared for the government and is now, overseeing. Well, you have more Nigerians thrown into multidimensional poverty like that, like we've never seen before. So would you not say that Sowore is right? So if Nigeria was working, would people still be escaping? Because as it stands right now, Nigerians are really escaping the country. They're not traveling out anymore. Every opportunity they have, they escape. Security purposes, healthcare, good roads, schools for their children, protection. People are killed every day. So if Nigeria was working, would people be escaping out of the country? You have to agree right now that Nigerians are basically escaping from the country. That's the fact. So again, I'm asking, is the current government worse than the previous government? Because for sure I said that every government that comes in is worse than the previous one. So if you look at from Obasanjo's time to Tinubu, has things not gotten worse? We have Obasanjo coming, Yadwa, Jonathan, we have Buhari, and now we have Bola Tinubu. Things got worse at every given turn. So these are some of the points that Sowore made. The million-dollar question here is Sowore right? Is Sowore really right? Was Obasanjo better than Yar'Adua and Yar'Adua Jonathan and Jonathan are better than Buhari and Buhari better than Bola Tinubu? Are we really getting worse as we get new government, or are we getting better? That's the big question Nigerians are asking. That's the question. That's the thing that Sowore threw to Nigeria. Let's take INEC as another example. We go from Jega to Yakubu Mahmood. So would you say INEC got worse? Because now we have a blatant rigging process that they don't really care anymore. It's under Mahmoud Yakub's time that Opus Odima, the person that came forth, became the governor of a state. It's under Yakub Mahmoud's time. Nigerians are still casting their vote. Election is not done yet. He announces the result and he can't even show proof to show who won. Under Yakub Mahmoud's time, where rigging just happens and then glitches happen and then we move on as though everything is okay. And Yakubu Mahmoud has become synonymous to corruption, electoral corruption, if you listen to the remarks made by Nigerians all across the world, locally, internationally. So again, is Sowore right? Look at the price of goods and services since Bola Tinubu took over, compare it to Buhari. Look at the value of the Naira since Bola Tinubu took over, compared to Buhari. Look at election rigging from Jonathan's time to Bola Tinubu's time. Don't you see that the things have gotten worse, or are they getting better, or is Bola Tinubu fixing anything for Nigerians? Have we gone from renewed hope to multiple level of sufferings? Under this current government, just like in Buhari, more journalists are getting arrested on a daily basis. Nigerians are getting arrested on a daily basis for nothing, for just speaking up against government. In the government that a man who says he's a Democrat is overseeing, where the lives of the citizens are not protected, the government has not been able to provide security for Nigerians and people are getting killed. Do you realize that the Arise News TV presenter that died recently because of robbery, she didn't even know that she would be the next victim? It's what Nigeria does to people. And that's why we're always praying that the government will stop this rigging and destruction of our system. That's why I'm asking you the question. This government's plan to return by 2027, the way they forced and seized every infrastructure that we have, every government infrastructure that we have, the way they've gone about it, the judiciary, the legislature, the police, the DSS, INEC, to make sure that they have their take over the election in 2027. It's now blatant. It's blatant. They're not even hiding their plans anymore. They're executing it for us to see. You wouldn't just say to me that with all you've seen since 2023, that Bola Tinubu just woke up and said the new INEC chairman that they've now said is going to be the new INEC, this new professor, They picked him out of the thin air. No, they already have the plan all arched out. So if Nigeria was working, if we had good roads, light, healthcare, electricity, security, and judicial independence, and the rule of law, do you think that people will be escaping from Nigeria just to find greener pasture in America, in Canada, in the UK, in France, in Australia? Just name it. The Nigerians are running out of the country, even to Ghana. Will Nigerians not want to be at home rather than being second-class citizens in another person's country if Nigeria is working? Sowore said it nicely. The only reason why Nigerians are running, in quote, Japa, is just because of they've not found peace in their country. There is this American report coming out to say that there's genocide going on in Nigeria. And our politicians, rather than dealing with the issues, are saying, no, there's no genocide. People are getting killed every day, burnt alive, when we're not in a war situation. And this APC government came into being as a result of the protest of the people because we want protection. We wanted protection. But have we gotten it? Has things not gotten worse? Ransom has become another source of revenue in Nigeria right now, where people are getting kidnapped all the time, and ransom asks because of this. What sort of situation do you think we'll found ourselves in? That's the question. These are the million-dollar questions that Sowore asked. And I'm asking you the same question. Is Sowore right? Pardon me, is Sowore right? Do you understand? If there's rule of law, people with corrupt practices who have been indicted should be in prison. Let's take the case of Ekweremadu. Do you think that Ekweremadu would have landed in prison if it was judged in Nigeria? No. Do you think that what with the crime accused Yaya Bello was accused of, do you think if it was in another country where the rule of law works, Yaya Bello would not have been in prison by now? Even Orji Uzor Kalu, that the Supreme Court overturned the judgment against him, do you think he will still not be in prison now? The system that we practice is the one destroying the country. And Sowore, for me, is right in pointing it out that we've gotten worse as we elect new government. It is sad to say, just like that girl said that Tinubu is a terrible president, it is sad to say that it is true that Tinubu is worse than Buhari. Bad planning, economic policy is not working, multidimensional poverty in the country, people are suffering. Nigerians can barely feed, but yet we have a government who sits in power and say they fixed Nigeria, that the bad days are over, that there's a good turnaround. But we cannot see it, but they can feel it, but the ordinary Nigerians cannot feel it. So that's why I'm asking you, Sowore, right? These are all the questions you must take into account as you move into 2027. I'm not really talking to all these people who've got their mind made up to make sure that they elect the right people in 2027. I'm talking to those people on the fence, those people who are seeing the country deteriorate and then benefit from it. Remember, recently, Aregbesola said this thing, that he was a beneficiary of bad electoral processes. And it was now itemizing the same thing that OB has been talking about, Sowore has been talking about, how to fix the system, the demand for INEC, the demand for equity, who chooses to become, how will we elect the next INEC chairman? But now, the person who's going to be the biggest beneficiary of the next INEC chairman is the one who elected him or chose him. How do you think he's going to serve Nigeria? He's going to serve his master. That's why I'm saying to all of you, especially those people who they will use to go rig elections, don't be a tool or willing tool in their hands. You that they will use to turn off the server, don't be a willing tool in their hands. The money they will pay you would not amount to anything. As a matter of fact, most likely you use that to bail your children or, pay for ransom if you're not careful. That's why you must share this content to others. As we continue to sensitize others, share them with others. Subscribe if you've not done so. Recommend this channel. Put your comment in the comment section. Again, remember to subscribe to this channel. I'll catch you in the next video. God bless you. Bye-bye for now.